by Elder Brady Young. Let's give him another hand. The stages and moves of life. If they were, sometimes they are presented to us and sometimes they're not. Like he said, whatever stage that you're in, you can still go forward.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to introduce to you, many of you know him. He's a powerhouse, he's a heavyweight. His messages have went all over the world. Now it may sound like I'm bragging. Yes, I am. Because I know the truth. He stands for so many of us. He's done so many things. This fellowship here may not be full, but it is full because it's all over the world. And I am so proud to be a part of this, liberation and empowerment. Many of you know him. His name is Dr. Ray Hagins. Let's stand and give him a great applause.
Model Tip family, since we are in our time of Kwanzaa, the proper greeting, which we should do all year long actually, but the proper greeting is Habar Gani. Yeah. Yeah? You just about got it. For those who are learning, all right, Habar Gani means Habar Gani. Okay? See, one of the things we must understand about other language terms is it means exactly what you're saying in that language. Got me? So what we do to get a better understanding, we try to translate what has been said. All right? You all right, Elder Williams? Okay? Yeah. Huh? Okay, you were just standing there. I didn't know if you were. That's okay. Don't give me the laugh if I start coughing. Okay. Okay. You know everybody sat down. I got it. Okay. Habar Gani means Habar Gani in the language of Kiswahili. But we translate it into English. Whenever we hear, and you always lose something in translation, whatever language you're talking about. So when we say Habar Gani, in English, we try to give you a reasonable concept of what that means. So we say it means, what's the word? What's the news? What's happening? What's going on? All that concept is wrapped up in the Kiswahili term of Habar Gani. So when I say Habar Gani, I'm saying to you what's happening. You follow me? What's going on? What's the news? Okay? And being that this is the 6th day of Kwanzaa, that's your response. Kuumba. That's what's the news. Creativity. Got me? Now, after you say that, excuse me, still dealing with this little thing here. After you say that, then you have to say something back to me. Okay? So don't just say, Kuumba Habar Gani. In other words, you told me what's the news. Now I'm asking you, what's the news? How are you doing? All that is wrapped up in the Habar Gani. So your proper response should be, I'm fine. Thank you. Now, I'm fine, or I'm good, in Kiswahili is mzuri. Got me? Okay, so you say, I'm fine, thank you. Now, what's thank you in Kiswahili? Asante. Got me? So it's Kuumba is what's the news, the answer to that question, right? Because Habar Gani is a question, right? So your response is, Mzuri Asante, I'm fine, thank you. Now, how are you? Or what's the news with you? So the whole response should be, Kuumba, Mzuri Asante, Habar Gani. Got me? Okay, so let's try it. Habar Gani. You got it. All right, y'all sound like y'all speaking in tongues, huh? Okay? That's how you respond. Now, it's really interesting because we go through this, and I'll touch on this when I get up to do the message today. We go through this for 7 days, and we don't do it no more. Until the next December 26th. You know, so I'll touch on that a little bit. We have with us today Minister Alice Wilson, and it's always good to have her with us. And several years ago, she did a song for Kwanzaa.
Yes, yes.
And it was so awesome. And since she's with us today, and it is Kwanzaa, and for those of you who are watching us out there from around the world, I want y'all to hear Minister Wilson sing this song today before I give the message. All right? So brothers and sisters, if you will, put your hands together and receive Minister Alice Wilson as she comes and shares with us in song. Okay? Come on, put your hands together.
Habargan.
Zuri Asante.
Zuri Asante. I just want to say it is always good to be here at the African Village. It's always good to see all of you all smiling faces. And as we reflect on Kwanzaa, I want to thank Brother Ricky Connor for writing this song about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he wrote this song.
All right, man.
And as I was thinking about it, I said, oh Lord, I'm going to need the words. But as to what Dr. Ray was sharing about the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, we have to stop and think about how do we reflect to our community? What is it that we do within our community to make it that much better from the time that we entered it? Mm-hmm. That's a question. We need to really think about that because we take time out at the end of the year to acknowledge 7 days, 7 powerful days that we say that is celebrated 365 days. And I had to stop and think about it. What is it? What principle do I actually incorporate in my life every single day? And it's Ujamaa, which is cooperative economics. And I am a champion for small business owners. I don't care what it is that you do, how you do it. My job every single day, and I get paid for it and I love it, is to make sure that I am empowering a small business owner to be that much better than they were from the time that I met them. Mm-hmm. Every single day, and I love that. And so as I prepare to sing this song and just share the words with you, because actually it's words that we should do, but I'm just doing it to music. And so if you would, just listen to the words. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa. The whole year through, our community needs to keep Kwanzaa on our mind. Temptation reach out to thee. Through our eyes smile tenderly. Create a loving community. That's the road that leads us back to we. nation reach out to thee. Through our eyes, smile tenderly. Create a loving community. That's the road that leads us back to we. All peace, no crime. Just an old sweet song with one song on our mind. Just an old sweet song with one song on our
Come on, y'all, put your hands together again. Thank you. Oh, man. Brother Connor,
Yes, sir.
you wrote something, brother.
She sang it.
She sang it, though. You wrote that, man. I'm telling you. And she put it in. You got the right person to sing it, though. That's for sure. You know, yeah. That gave the tune of Georgia a whole new meaning, didn't it? Yeah, Ray Charles would have been proud on that one. Oh, my goodness. Once again, welcome to all of you, to those of you who are watching us live on Facebook. Good to have you guys with us today. I solicit your prayers because whereas I do feel good, I'm not 100%. And I don't want to, y'all, I got off the plane, man, whoo-hoo. Yeah, it made me speak in another language. When I felt Elder Lee and Elder Lucas called me on yesterday and told me, don't try to come in here, man, because it's cold. You know, but being it's the last Sunday of the year and it's our Kwanzaa celebration, I really wanted to be here. You know, and felt good enough to come on in here and be with you. And I'm glad I did. And I look forward to the rest of our day together. I'm really going to be talking off the top of the head today. Okay, because I thought that the whole celebration was going to be up here from 10 to 3 downstairs, just moving downstairs. And so the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, our speaker is going to be downstairs on the lower level later. And so let me talk about something I guess need to be addressed anyway. And Brother Brady, thank you, man. That was good today, bro. That was really, really good. Let's put our hands together again. Because what you said is so true, man. You know, we have failed the oncoming generation by not preparing them for the stages of life. You know, and as Brady was just sharing with us, when we reach that point of 64, 65 years old, okay, others call it the harvest period of your life. At that point, you should be sitting back enjoying all of the stuff that you have prepared and put in place and put in action. Okay, so, and a lot of people who are well into their 60s are not ready, you know, to sit back. They can't just sit back and enjoy life because they didn't go through the stages of preparation. So that was really good today, man. Thank you so much for that. And I trust that you out there who watched that today or heard this today will share it with your young people, okay, to help get them ready. Everybody repeat after me, please. The prerequisite for African accomplishment. Now, can I just talk as it's coming from my heart?
Yes.
Okay, and maybe it just worked out this way by divine intervention, okay? The prerequisite for African accomplishment. Ever since I've been a little boy, and I'm sure long before I even came on the scene, we have been talking about what we need to be doing. Okay? I've sat in so many meetings with our folk talking about what we need to do. I shouldn't say the last time, but a time that really comes to the forefront of my mind was when I was in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. A group of brothers got together and decided that they were going to put their monies together and buy land and accomplish something. Being that I was a guest at that time with them, I told them, I said, brethren, I have sat in so many meetings where we've had this same discussion. And I've reached the point to where I'm tired of talking. That's what I told them. I said, however, because I believe in what y'all are saying, and I'm a visitor, but I'm going to put up the first $100. Now, if you brothers do not accomplish what y'all are talking about, please send me my $100 back. Needless to say, I didn't get my $100 back. And also, needless to say, they have not accomplished at all what we sat and spent almost 3 hours talking about that day. That seems to be our plight. We talk about what all we need to do to accomplish what? The problem I've concluded, and it's just my opinion. Am I entitled to my opinion? Okay. Maybe it makes sense to you as I say it. I've concluded that the reason why we have not accomplished the things that we talk about is because we have not met the prerequisite for African accomplishment or achievement. Brother Ray, what is the prerequisite? See, and here's the problem. So many of us have in our minds what we need to be doing, and usually what's in our minds is founded or based on what our ego wants. So when you put different egos out there, you're going to have different goals. As long, let me give you a perfect example. Perfect example. Not long ago, right here in St. Louis, there was a mayoral election. How many black candidates ran for mayor? The prerequisite for African achievement was not met. So consequently, none of the black candidates won the position of mayor. You know why? Because of ego. Am I making sense, y'all? You see, the prerequisite for African achievement is something called collective consciousness. Grab what I'm saying here. We all have great ideas. But if we're not on the same page as far as the goal that needs to be accomplished, we're going to find ourselves splintered and divided and without result. Because we have not met the prerequisite of African achievement. Now, that's by design.
All right.
Programs have been put in place to be sure that we do not accomplish the very first principle of this season called Kwanzaa. What is the first principle, y'all? Umoja. Unity. Now, let's be honest. We talk about it. Every doggone December 26th, you see Umoja. Written in all different styles and forms and colors. Umoja, Umoja, Umoja. Unity. But do we have it? You're damn right we ain't got it. Excuse me. We don't have unity. I have not seen unity among us. I just haven't seen it. And I sure haven't seen it since I've been in St. Louis. That's why not one black candidate won as mayor. Because we can't put in action umoja. We can't put our egos, our personal whatever aside and accomplish something. I'll never forget it. When we started Black Cops Against Police Brutality here in the city. Now it's deep because we had our national president of BCAP come in here, Brother DeLacy Davis, and we formed Black Cops Against Police Brutality right here from this pulpit in St. Louis. I think it was the night he was here, or the very next day, a young man by the name of Pooh Dobbins got shot and killed in Pagedale. Right? Well, being that we Black Cops Against Brutality, police brutality, we rolled on that situation. Okay? Got to talking, Pooh Dobbins' family. I think the Attorney General at that time was Janet Reno. And we had contacted Janet Reno to get the Attorney General involved. We got a letter from Janet Reno, blah, 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 blah. They're going to, get involved in this situation. And I'm sitting there talking with Pooh Dobbins' family, and me and Mentul Tep and a couple others there with our B-cap shirts on, talking to the family. And I said, were you with this other? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm talking to the family, and they all discussed. I said, well, y'all, what we need to do as Africans, and I didn't get to say anything else.
Not right. Right.
Two doggone mothers said, wait a GD minute. We ain't Africans. We's Americans. And my spirit said, shut up. Because this is not the time or the place to deal with your own cultural awareness. We were dealing with the fact that her son got shot and killed. You follow what I'm saying? And a couple of days later, his stepfather called me and said, Reverend, we decided that we're going to let somebody else handle our situation. And there was another group here in the city who was against police brutality, I won't even go call their names, I don't want them to think I'm attacking them. And I said, ain't this something? No unity. Consequently, the other group stepped in, we stepped back. Instead of us coming together and fighting on this situation. Y'all heard what I'm saying? So we stepped back, and needless to say, the whole thing died and went away. After people got their photo ops and all that kind of stuff, the whole thing died and went away. That's been the story here in Dred Scott City. Yeah, Sister Liz got involved, yes. The prerequisite for us to achieve or reach our goals is, first of all, we have to get on the same page about whatever the goal is. That's called a mission statement. If you go across this country, what is the national mission statement for black people in America? Nobody can tell you, because we don't have one. And if you wake up in the morning and don't know what your mission is, then you're going to go throughout the day with your agenda in mind. And once you put together 30 million different agendas, isn't it deep? Because you got folk who don't even like each other, of other races who can come together in unity with an agenda and goal to see to it that we don't ever come together. You know, it's deep, man, because, and my heart hurts. I heard some stuff on, and I don't even want to focus y'all on it because it's so negative. But here you have in our community people who are respected and looked up to by so many of us fighting among each other on YouTube, cussing each other out.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, you know, will we ever be saved? Now, when I say saved, don't get me wrong. I don't mean going to heaven.
Right.
I mean that.
Right.
Okay, in fact, there's nothing in the Bible about with the word saved that denotes going up in the sky when you die.
That's right.
See, y'all think saved means to be forgiven of your sins and to walk around heaven all day. That's not what saved means. The word saved in the Old Testament is the word yasha, Y-A-S-H-A. In the New Testament, it's sozo, S-O-Z-O. And both means to be liberated, to be made to stand upright, to be healed from your weakened condition. That's all saved means. And I wonder, will we ever be saved? Because we're focused on the wrong thing. Until we accomplish collective consciousness, which means that all of us are on the same page up here. All of us are focused on the same page up here. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to all meet inside four walls and create an agenda. What it does mean, however, is you need to be sure that you know what we need to do for us to make achievement. Now, I gotta go here. What is the number one thing that keeps us from collective consciousness?
Lack of history of yourself.
Well, see, here's how it goes. Everybody say religion. That's the number one thing that keeps us from collective consciousness.
Yep, that is true.
Religion. You got Muslims. You got Christians. You got Hebrew Israelites. Okay? You got Buddhists. Now, what's really deep about it is each group thinks they're right. And I can name about at least 500 more. Everybody thinks they're right. Everybody has their way or their path to what? God or nirvana or, blessings, da-da-da-da-da. And it's deep because within the realms of Christianity by itself, it says that if anybody come unto you without believing this same religion, don't have nothing to do with it. Don't receive him into your house. I was just talking with somebody a couple of days ago, and they were telling me their spouse, what did I just say? Their spouse has a problem with their new awareness. And the spouse don't want to hear nothing. Now, when you got that kind of a control mechanism in place, how are we going to ever come together? How are we going to ever establish collective consciousness if we have something as simple as a belief system? Throwing a monkey wrench into our progress. Am I making sense here?
Yes.
Something as simple as a belief system. Everybody say this. No belief system is based in historical fact. Did y'all get what I just said? Not one belief system on this planet is based in historical fact. That's why it's a belief system. It's not a knowledge system. It's a belief system. And the deep thing about a belief system is not one thing in it can be validated or verified.
Go ahead.
Are y'all getting this? I mean, really, y'all don't think what I'm saying is an attack. I'm trying to enlighten you.
Yeah.
Not one belief system is based in fact. It's all based in somebody's opinion. So because I think that my belief is the right way. Notice what I said now. My belief is the right way, then everybody else got to be wrong. Right. And as long as I think that everybody else is wrong, we will never have collective consciousness.
Yes.
Because you're saying that Jesus is the way. The person next to you is saying, Allah is the way. Person next to them is saying, Buddha is the way. Person next to them is saying, Krishna is the way. And so consequently, we just don't come together. I'll never forget, brothers and sisters, the very meeting that was a turning point in my life, my development. We called a group of men together to decide what we were going to do. You're from Patterson?
Originally from New York, but I trained in Patterson.
You trained in Patterson? Okay. Yeah. In Patterson, there was a group of men. Brother Al Moody, if he hears this, every time I think of this event, I want to give praises to Brother Moody and others who invited me to a meeting, grab this now, to talk about what we need to do to empower our community. Did y'all get what I just said? That was the purpose of the meeting. But at that meeting, I heard a brother say that the original virgin-born Christ was Horus of ancient Egypt. Now at that time, being a Holy Ghost filled, sold out preacher of Christianity, when I heard him say the original virgin-born Christ child was Horus of Egypt, I stepped to this brother, ready to fight. I mean, literally hit him. You know why? Because the Bible told me in the book of Jude to contend earnestly for the faith that was once delivered unto the saints. Y'all know what the word contend means? It means fight. A heavyweight contender. A contender is a fighter. And when he said something that was outside of my circumference of awareness, guess what happened, y'all? I forgot all about why we came together in the first place.
Yes.
We came together for the purpose of talking about what we need to do to empower our community. But once he said something that I didn't agree with, are y'all getting this?
Yes.
of Jesus is against you. You're an evil one. I looked at another black man looking like me and said, you're evil. Because he didn't say what I believed. Not what I knew, but what I believed. And I went off on this brother so hard that the other people said, calm down, Rev. And when they told me to calm down, I thought they were agents of the devil. And I said, Satan, the Lord rebuke y'all too. All of y'all in here. Y'all are agents of the devil, and I can't stay here among you. And I left the meeting. Guess what, y'all? We didn't get to talk about, well, at least I didn't get to share with them what needed to be said about empowering our community. You know why? Because we didn't have collective consciousness. Well, I didn't have collective consciousness with the rest of those brothers. I should have known because these brothers didn't go to church. Grab what I'm saying. I mean, I knew all the brothers, and I was surprised they invited me to the meeting. But Al Moody said, Rev, you've always been a progressive brother, so we want you to come to this meeting. I should have known something wasn't going to work then. Because they didn't go to church. There were a group of brothers in Patterson, but they just didn't go to church. Now, it's not that they wouldn't go in a church, but they weren't members of a church. They knew what I now know. And that is religion is one of the major instruments to keep us from collective consciousness. Are y'all getting this? And until we establish collective consciousness, we're not going to achieve anything. We're going to keep talking. We're going to keep talking. Every December 26th, we're going to all stand up and holler, Umoja! We're going to say it like, Umoja! Umoja! We're going to say it every December 26th. And the rest of the year, we're going to stay divided. It blows my mind, y'all. Why in a city the size of St. Louis, which is really not that large compared to other cities, that at this time of the year, that our people cannot come together and have one massive Kwanzaa celebration. Everybody wants to shine. Everybody, we're going to have Kwanzaa celebration, we have Kwanzaa celebration, and that's fine, okay. But why can't we join forces and have one big Kwanzaa celebration right here at the African Village? If y'all remember, I don't know, those of you who were here when it first came. When it first came, we opened the doors of the African Village to the community. And my thesis on that was, this is the African Village. What better place in St. Louis for African people to come together for their events than the African Village? And we opened our doors. And I found out that people wanted to use the African Village. I got to say it. People wanted to use the African Village, but not support the African Village. You see? So when my eyes came open to that, I stopped letting people use the African Village. And guess who became the bad guy? I did. Because I wouldn't let people use the African Village for their agenda. Where's the unity? It's almost like the song, where is the love you said you'd give to me? Soon as you were free, will it ever be? Well, where's the unity? This is a beautiful place. This is a beautiful house. Anything that goes on in Dred Scott City that has to do with Africans coming together? So, this year, and I have to be honest, I think I shared with a few people, this year, I said, you know what, I'm tired of the rituals. I'm tired of the rituals. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of going through the form. See, in religion, they say having a form of godliness, but denying the power that goes along with being godly. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that we look good. Oh, we can look the part now. We can lock down and onk up and you name it, man. We can dashiki to no end, man. You know, and da 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 da, and all that, and, you know, and speak Kiswahili for Kwanzaa. Okay, it's deep because we don't say umoja no other time of the year. We don't say kujichakulia no other time of the year. Y'all grab say we don't say ujamaa any other time of the year. We don't say ujima any other time of the year. We don't say kuumba any other time of the year. Just these 7 damn days. And I'm tired of the ritual of going through the form of being African for 7 days. If we're going to live the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba, then live it all year long. That's why I like the song, man. What was the words? Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, the whole year through. Ain't that the first line?
Yes. Yes.
Take off the hypocrisy.
Yes.
If we're going to live umoja, then let's be umoja. Let's be unified. Don't just say it. We got to do it. It's deep because even in the program of religion and Christianity, I used to preach this phrase right out of the Bible. Don't be just hearers of the word, but be doers of the word. If we're going to do it, man, let's do it. Otherwise, let's stop playing. Tired of the rituals. Everybody repeat after me. Rituals have no power in and of themselves. But we love rituals, though. I mean, you know, for example, let me give you a ritual that people love. It's called a wedding ceremony. That's a ritual. I've seen people spend thousands of dollars for a ritual. And after they spent all that money, that was not their reality. Another ritual, the funeral ceremony. People carry on at a funeral. It's a ritual. You know why I say it's a ritual? Because the person is not dying at the ceremony. It's a ritual about an event that has already taken place. But people carry on in the ritual. Oh, Jesus! Oh! I remember this family in Patterson, back at that time, a very popular song was, "How do I say goodbye to what we had?" Y'all remember that song? So this family, I was a musician for a lot of funerals at the time, and this family requested that song. Okay, cool. So when they got ready to view the remains, I started playing and singing. How do I say goodbye? And the wife of the deceased started carrying on. Ah! Ah! And then she became so uncontrollable that I stopped singing the song. I felt it's best for me not to sing this if it's going to affect her like that. Y'all, I stopped singing the song. The lady said, "Ah! Don't stop singing that song." I mean, she came out of it just like, "Don't you stop singing that song." And I realized this lady wanted the excitement of the ritual. Am I making sense? Same thing we want to do these 7 days. Y'all, we got to get to the place of not just being ideological. Okay? A lot of people like the idea of a thing without the reality of the thing. Am I making sense here? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and close because I feel myself getting weak. But the point here is, if we're not going to establish and maintain collective consciousness, meaning everybody up here on the same page, moving in the same direction with the same goal. Not your agenda. Whatever the goal, whatever our national goal is, or whatever our organizational goal is. That's why we have a mission statement, y'all, for the African village.
Yes, sir.
You know, the African missions, people say to me, so where are we going? It never, I want to say, have you read the mission statement? The mission statement, when I wrote the mission statement, it said where we're going, what our agenda is, what we're supposed to be doing. If we do that, everything will be all right. It's real simple. We have to know what our mission is so that when we wake up in the morning, we're clear. Otherwise, next year this time, we'll be in the same spot. And year after that, we'll still be in the same spot. Because you don't know where we are supposed to be going. Uh-oh. Okay, I just got something as I said that. You know why you don't know where we are supposed to be going? Because you don't know where you're supposed to be going. See, before there can be a we, okay, you got to get it together.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing as bad as a group of individuals and don't nobody know where they're going and you want to know where we supposed to be going. Did that make sense? Okay? You have to be clear on your own mission statement first before you can be any good to anybody else.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I got to stop now because I do feel myself getting a little weak. But did y'all get the point? Okay, so let's ask the ancestors to move in us so that we can get on the same page.
Yes.
I remember back in 1960, and I was a little young boy, 7 years old. But there was a group called the Congress on Racial Equality, CORE. Anybody remember that group? Yeah. And CORE, in 1960, CORE had a theme saying free in 63. That was their mantra. Free in 63. Free in 63. Well, dang on it, this is now 2017. And we still ain't free. Y'all grab what I'm saying? See, we gotta stop getting hung up on catchphrases. You got some leaders out here, or self-appointed leaders out here, who like to quote catchphrases, and they sound good, but don't accomplish nothing. I'll stop with this point I made. I posted this on my Facebook page a couple of weeks ago, that long. I was talking to a brother, and he was bragging to me about being an activist. I don't know if any of y'all saw that on my Facebook page. He was bragging about being an activist. And I said, okay, brother, so what have you accomplished? And he looked at me strange. He said, what do you mean? I said, what have you accomplished? you're an activist. What have you accomplished? And he went on to tell me about all of the marches that he had participated in, and all of the sit-ins and shut-ins and shut-downs and all that kind of stuff. He went to tell me, "Oh man, I was there. Yeah, I said, "But what did you accomplish? You still haven't answered the question." He got disgusted and walked away.
I know he did.
You know why he got disgusted and walked away? Because he couldn't tell me what he accomplished. So, I put it on my Facebook page. I said, the brother gave us a new definition of an activist. As somebody who engages in activities. But that's really all he told me. He told me about all the activities he participated in, but he couldn't tell me one thing he accomplished.
That was ego.
You see? So it's important, brothers and sisters, that, and that's why I said, I put this out some time ago, activity, repeat this after me, activity without accomplishment is an exercise in futility. Write that down. Remember that. Okay? If you don't accomplish something, then you wasted your time. I don't care how hard you marched or how much you hollered or whatever. If you didn't accomplish your goal, you wasted your time. You see? So we have to come together and reach that point of collective consciousness. Now, I can't tell you what that is today. Those of you watching, I can't tell you what that is today. Okay? And to be honest with you, I don't know if we're going to get to the point of saying it. You know why? Because right now, if Brother Ray Hagins right now was to write a national mission statement, there are people out there who would oppose the mission statement that I wrote simply because they don't like Ray Hagins.
Right.
Y'all get what I'm saying? Yeah. So how are we going to solve our problem? Well, the solution it starts with you.
Yes, sir.
As an individual.
Yes.
Know what your mission statement. Know what your mission statement is. Determine what you are on this planet for. Understand why you came out of your mother's womb. What is your assignment? What is your mission? And then after you square away on your mission statement, have one for your family.
Yes.
So, and go over it every day. Read it every day in your family so that your children, as they grow up, they know why we're here.
Yes.
Are y'all making sense?
Yes.
And then once your family mission statement is squared away, come together and establish a community mission statement. And all of it should be connected to each other.
Yes.
Okay? Okay. Ashe.
Ashe.
Hope it made sense. To the one true living God, who is the creator and sustainer of all the worlds, and to our ancestors, we thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come together today. I pray that the words that you've heard today, coming from our brother Young, as well as the message I just shared, I pray that you would hear these words and that the Spirit of God would take those words and ride them to the eardrum and then to the heart. And let it make a difference in our lives so that we can make change and empower our people. To that I say, Ashe, and Amen. To those of you who are watching us by way of internet, Brother Tom, you can come on forward because right after this we're going to cut off. But those of you who are watching us by way of internet, thank you so much for being a part of our experience today. And in a little while, we will be airing some more, all right? Because we're going to stream our Kwanzaa celebration. It's going to take place on the lower level. Okay, so you can stay tuned because we're coming back on the air shortly. And we'd be glad to have you guys join us. But in the meantime, as you prepare to depart from us right now, before you leave us, please take a moment and share of your substance with us to help us here at the African Village. It's really deep because, and I painfully make this announcement, but the African Village of Chicago had to close its doors. And the reason why it had to close its doors is because the message of African liberation is just not lucrative. Okay? We just don't see the need to give like we gave to the lie. We supported the lie. We were programmed to support the lie. We were programmed, when you get paid, you take 10% of what you made and give it to God first. And that's what we did. And that's why churches survive so well. Because people who are broke would still give their 10% because they were told, if you do this first, God will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you won't have room to receive.
Yeah.
That's what we were taught.
That's right.
We were taught that
That's right.
if you give out of your bosom, God will give back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over will God give back to you. People, actually, yes, I did. Right? I used to do it. That's why I can do it so well, man. Okay? But it's really deep because people gave because they believed that. You see? But the truth of the matter is, family, we don't support the truth like we should. We just don't. And I don't know what to say to make us do it. I can't, people give in the church because they feel God won't bless them with that house, or God won't bless them with that husband, or God won't bless them with that wife, or something, Well, I don't play those games with you here. I don't do that. And the African Village in Chicago had to close its doors because the giving just wasn't sufficient to meet the overhead, So, family, we need all the help we can get. Yeah. We do. We're very small in number, and that's because we don't preach the program. Okay? So I pray that the ancestors and the Almighty will touch hearts of people who will support, make a donation. If it's $5, $10, and be consistent with it. Okay? Don't just give today and then, I gave my $5. We have the same expenses every month. Okay? So share with us, okay? Go to PayPal. In fact, the page that you're listening to, at the bottom of the app, there's a little heart there. You can give by pressing that heart, or go to our PayPal page for the African Village, of African Village 1 at AOL.com, and that's African with a K, and make a donation, okay, to help us with our expenses here, because they're great. Okay, we don't want to close our doors here. We've been making it this far. And I believe that the ancestors and the Almighty is going to touch your heart to help us make it further. Okay? So make a donation to help us.